Welcome back to the fourth episode of Let's Talk Sports with Chaz. I'm your host, Chaz Ledger. Today, we're going to talk about New England sports. We're going to talk about the Celtics, Red Sox, and my special guest, who happens to be my former baseball coach, Mr. Brett Feldman, who I'm excited to talk about sports he did as a kid and sports that are in Boston. Did you catch Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown lighting up in the first NBA Finals game in Boston since 2010? Let's talk about it. The great Paul Pierce was there to experience the achievement. Did you catch the Red Sox as they're on another hot streak and they've been on fire lately? Let's talk about it. They now have a record that is above 500 and they are doing great. Let's talk sports. Now I'd like to introduce my former baseball coach, Mr. Brett Feldman, and here's some things you should know about him. He went to the University of Michigan for undergrad and the University of Boston for business school. He lived in Washington, D.C. for 2 years, and he lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for 2 years. He's been working in the clean energy industry for the last 25 years. He served on the Franklin Finance Committee and the Town Council, and he is a coach for soccer, flag football, basketball, and baseball. He was my baseball coach for Barnstormers. He won the Association Recreation Coach of the Year Award. And welcome to Let's Talk Sports with Chaz, Brett.
Thanks, great to be here, and I hope I'm your future coach too.
Let's start off with sports that you played as a kid. What sports did you play as a kid?
A lot. Yeah, I like to play everything in the neighborhood. I like to play street hockey back in the day, and I did a lot of soccer growing up. Basketball is my favorite overall, so I'm happy to talk about that as much as you want. Baseball. And then when I got to high school, I played soccer in high school. I didn't make the baseball team, so I played tennis instead. So I did a few years of tennis, and I tried out for the basketball team, which I also didn't make, so I did swimming instead. Yeah,
unfortunate.
It was tough, but did a little swimming, so I tried to diversify a little bit, but yeah, try to play a little bit of everything, except didn't do football. I don't think my parents wanted that.
Yeah, I do football. It would have been a good sport to play. While doing these sports, did you experience any injuries?
Unfortunately, a couple. One, back in high school, I broke my wrist playing basketball.
Ooh.
I like to tell people I did it dunking the ball, but it was just backpedaling and I fell on my wrist and broke it.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, and then in my older days, it was about 10 years ago now, I tore my Achilles playing basketball also, so maybe that should be a sign that I should have stopped.
Shouldn't play basketball, yeah.
I know, but yeah, that was tough. That was one of those non-contact injuries. I just jumped up and it felt like someone hit me with a baseball bat and it just snapped. So, but now I coach instead. Yeah.
You are also a coach. Is there anything that you experienced as a player and a coach?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, obviously it helps to play the game to coach, so that's what I've tried to do with my knowledge of soccer and baseball and basketball. One thing I never coached, my daughter played lacrosse, and I never coached that because I really had no idea what the rules were like, so I figured someone else might be able to help her better. But everything else, yeah, I mean, it's but I also try to think about what the different ages and teaching what's appropriate, right? You can't necessarily teach a kindergartner the same thing you teach a 7th or 8th grader, so just got to make sure you're teaching at the right level.
Yep. Is there any favorite moments that you experienced as a player or a coach?
When I was in high school, my high school soccer team, we made it to state semifinals. That was pretty exciting, but we lost there.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I guess as a coach, we won. I coached my daughter in soccer and also my son, and we've won I think 5 combined division championships for both teams. So that's been exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, got a lot of T-shirts from the Soccer Association for that. And then you mentioned last year I won the Massachusetts Youth Soccer Association Coach of the Year award, which was very rewarding to feel like to get appreciation for putting in all the time and hard work. So we got to go to a New England Revolution game. They gave us tickets, and we had a little cookout beforehand, and my name was on the scoreboard, so that was pretty neat, and I got a nice plaque to bring home.
Did they win?
The Revs won. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 2-0.
Nice. Let's go into the Celtics. Do you think they'll win the championship?
Sure. Why not? They've gone this far. No, it's hard. You know, they're so inconsistent, right? They don't play 2 good games in a row, really. So that's a problem. It'll be interesting to see what they do tonight. I mean, hopefully they can keep the momentum up. It seems like they like to, be kind of the underdog and come back. But I think talent-wise, they have more talent than the Warriors if they're all healthy. So yeah, it'll be exciting.
You just need one of those Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum spikes again, because they were amazing.
I know. It doesn't seem like they both have a good game at the same time too often. Yeah. So that helps.
Brown will have 17 in the first, and Tatum will have 2. I'm like, hello. Yeah. Come on, wake up.
I wish there was a way that they could just skip the third quarter. I don't know what their problem is in the third quarter. It's crazy.
Third quarter, they're like the worst team in the league, and every other quarter they're like the best team in the league. So it doesn't make sense. Example, they almost blew it on Wednesday because they kept on giving up the lead in the third. I'm like, come on.
No, I don't know what they do at halftime. They must take a nap or something.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite player on the Celtics?
Well, one thing I'll say about this matchup with the Warriors, wearing my Michigan shirt. Each team has a Michigan player. So Jordan Poole on the Warriors went to Michigan, and Nick Stauskas, who's one of the bench players on the Celtics, went there. So that's nice to have one on each side. Stauskas doesn't do much, but Poole's been a good player. I'm not rooting for him in this series necessarily. But on the Celtics themselves, that's the thing. It's a good all-around team, right? It's not just one player. I guess you got to root for Al Horford, right? He's been around for a long time. Be nice to see him win. Robert
Williams too, blocking stuff.
Yep.
Who do you want to win the NBA Finals?
Celtics. It'd be great if they could do another parade. Maybe we could go in for the parade.
Get that 18th up there, which would have been really good. The Red Sox. Do you have a favorite player on the Red Sox?
Currently or like all time?
All time.
Go back to like when I was a kid. I love Mike Greenwell. You might not even know who that is. Maybe your father remembers him, but he was a left fielder. Like after Jim Rice got a little old, they had this great. They went from Ted Williams to Kyle Yastrzemski to Jim Rice, and then a guy named Mike Greenwell came in. He was a fun player. He was from Florida, and he used to talk about like wrestling alligators and all kind of crazy stuff. So he was a fun one back in my day.
All time Red Sox would probably have to be David Ortiz. Current is Xander Bogaerts because he's very good. Your opinion on the Sox streak right now?
Yeah, it's hard to know. I think they haven't been playing the best teams necessarily, but you got to beat who's in front of you, and it's better than losing. Obviously, they started very slow, and I think I'm glad we still have the Celtics to talk about for another week or two at least before we have to focus on the Red Sox. We're actually Mike and I are going to go to see the Red Sox on Father's Day, so that'll be nice. They're playing the Cardinals. That'll be fun. But yeah, who knows when Chris Sale's going to be back, right? Never know with him.
Hopefully pretty soon, because they definitely need him. Yeah, they can't even beat the teams that are not even that good, so that's really bad. So they need Chris Sale out there. Do you think they'll fall apart, or will they continue their streak?
I don't see any reason they'd fall apart necessarily. I mean, it seems like last year was a surprise, right? So I don't think anyone has expectations that they can do that again, but you never know. Yeah, see if they do anything at the deadline. They don't usually, but maybe we'll see again. Getting Sale back would be good. They're hitting better, right? Trevor Story started off horrible, and now he's hitting better. But just want to see what they do long term. If they try to keep Bogaerts and Devers, or if they're willing to pay him or not, right?
They better pay them. They're like the best players on the team. So, the Red Sox have been doing good. Celtics hopefully will win tonight. And any thoughts on anything else?
Well, I always talk about the Patriots, right? Or whoever you want. Who do you want to talk about for football?
I like the Cowboys.
What do you think about them?
They're going to destroy Brady in week 1. We already know that. So, yeah, Dak Prescott's going to carry the team. CeeDee Lamb. I know you like the Patriots, so how do you think Mac Jones will do?
People say you get a big bump in the second year, but I don't know about the coaching. That's the thing, who's going to be coaching, and do you trust them? It's a big loss losing Josh McDaniels, and Belichick's getting old, so that's I get probably worry more about the coaches than the players at this point. But it'll be interesting to see Malcolm Butler back. I don't know if he's going to bring some old magic back or not. Probably not, but who knows?
Hopefully he brings his Super Bowl 49 self and not his Titans self to the Patriots, because there's 2 different players.
Yeah.
So Sammy Watkins is on one of the rivals, and also Tyreek Hill is on Miami Dolphin now. You have to verse them in twice. So how do you think we'll do against him?
What team is Watkins on now?
I think he went to the Titans. But I know that Hill is definitely on Miami,
Dolphins, yeah.
and we're versing them in week 1. So will he destroy us, or will he be good?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like people just assume that the Patriots are going to be better than the Dolphins this year, but I don't necessarily see that. They lost to them twice last year, so I don't see any reason to believe that. They have a new coach, I guess, so you never know about that. But the Patriots, they're better than the Jets, I'll give them that much. But other than that, I don't know. I'm not too confident in the division.
They weren't too consistent either. They would win a game, and then we'll be like, well, that was expected, and then they go ahead and lose to the Colts or the Dolphins, and we're like, come on, because it was unexpected. The tough loss to Dallas in overtime.
I must have liked that one.
Yeah, definitely. That was kind of embarrassing though, because they shouldn't have lost.
Yeah, well, I got to go to the game against the Bucks last year. That was amazing.
Yep. All you needed to do was trust the inconsistent Nick Folk to kick a 54-yarder, which was not going to happen. So he was close.
Yeah, we could hear the big doink all over
Heard
the
it off.
stadium.
Dad standing up thinking he's going to make it, and he hits it off the crossbar. I'm like, well, that's the game. And that was a tough one. They started the season horribly, and then they went on the nice 7-game win streak, and then lost to the Colts. So yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, hopefully the special teams will be better this year. That was not good last year.
Matthew Slater's good, but that's about
Can't
it.
do it all. Maybe you can punt.
Yeah, put Matthew Slater at the punting. How do you think they'll do against the Bills? Because they were really bad against the Bills last year.
Those last 2 games were bad as you could imagine on a NFL team. That was sometimes you see those types of blowouts in college, but not at the professional level. So I'm sure Belichick's put a lot of time into those. But yeah, the Bills are stacked. Unless they needed more speed on defense, they got some, but the linebackers are still pretty old and slow.
Yeah. They added Von Miller to their defense, so that's going to be a havoc.
Yeah, I was hoping the Bills would beat the Chiefs last year. That was one of the best games of the year.
13 seconds left. Mahomes. Well, now he doesn't have Hill anymore to do that clutch touchdown or celebration. Still has Kelsey, but no Hill. Everyone thinks they're going to fall apart. I don't think so. I just hope that Dallas and New England beats them, because no one likes the Chiefs, really.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs division is crazy now, too. Like, every team in that division is good, so then they'll just beat up on each other.
Bengals, pretty good. Even though they didn't pass it to Jamar Chase when he was wide open in the Super Bowl. But, yeah, the Patriots, they got Vince Wilfork in the Hall of Fame, Patriots Hall of Fame. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Vince was great. He was always a fun guy. I hear him a lot on like on the radio doing interviews and on TV. So he used to live in Franklin too. Did you know that? He lived in Franklin when he was playing there. So that's kind of neat. Local. I don't think I ever saw him around. I remember seeing Teddy Bruschi at Spruce Pond Creamery a couple times, but I never saw Vince around.
The Bruins are definitely in the off season. They fired Bruce Cassidy, which was a little bit surprising. Do you think that Bergeron will return, or what changes do you think they'll make?
Yeah. I think they need to go higher than Cassidy. I don't know why Don Sweeney's still around. He's a friend of Cam Neely, I guess. So I don't know what it'll take to make that change. But yeah, we'll have to see what they get as a coach. I grew up in Burlington, Mass. I grew up with Jay Pandolfo. I don't know if you know that name. He played at Boston University. Then he played at he was on the New Jersey Devils. He got a couple of Stanley Cup championships, and then he was an assistant coach with the Bruins. Then he just went back to coach to be the head coach at BU. I wonder if he wishes he stayed around and he could take over for Cassidy. We'll have to see who they get. Yeah, Bergeron. I don't know if Cassidy was part of his decision or he's just waiting. Maybe Krejci will come back, right?
Krejci, yeah, or Krug. I don't know why we got rid of those two guys. That was definitely a mistake. Because when Pastrnak was injured, there was no power play.
Yeah.
Because there was no one else that could shoot the puck.
Yeah, hopefully Swayman will be a good long-term goalie, too. That'd be nice if we could count on him for years to come.
Micah has the playoff game coming up next week in the finals. Hopefully they win. How do you think Micah will do?
He's going to hit the winning grand slam.
Yep.
And then pitch the winning out.
Kevin is good too. I think he's gonna get hit. Micah's definitely getting a hit in the game. Hopefully they win. It's probably gonna be the Red Sox, and they just gotta get prepared for it.
Yeah. Well, the finals is 2 out of 3. It's not even one game. It's a series, so they let it go on for a while.
Oh. Hopefully he does good in that. And then we have the Barnstormers coming up this summer.
Yeah, you'll be back?
Yep.
All right.
I'm on the Barnstormers.
Excellent.
Timmy is too. So they have some good players playing. Football's coming up in August. Is Micah going to do flag again? Or?
Yeah, I think we'll keep doing flag. I don't think he's going to do tackle anytime soon. But flag and soccer again. So got to keep him busy. And
Yep.
he has his bar mitzvah coming up in the fall too. So a lot to do this fall.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys will start getting ready for high school, right?
Yeah. 8th in high school, and yeah. Now let's move to Franklin sports. Franklin High Unified Basketball Team played in the Special Olympics and brought back the gold medal. Woohoo! Franklin High girls lacrosse is moving on as they destroyed the D1 Newton High 17-4. That was a zoinker. Franklin boys lacrosse used a strong third quarter to take over and win, and they're moving on to the next round. The 1 seed Franklin beat the 16 seed Chelmsford in a baseball game 3-2. They're in Division 1. That's the scores for Franklin. Mr. Brett Feldman, what is your thoughts on the unified basketball team winning the gold medal?
Yeah, that's exciting. I knew that they went. I didn't realize that they won the gold. That's amazing. Our kids have participated in unified soccer. I know they have like track and swimming. There's a lot of different programs, so it's really amazing that Franklin offers those and that they're that good. So that's exciting for them and for their families.
That reminds me of the unified baseball team, where we went and helped with the kids that have struggles for baseball, practice the fielding and the hitting. They got to do the hitting and we fielded the ball. I saw they enjoyed it a lot, which made us happy because we're like, these kids don't get to play that much, and it's just exciting that they're able to have a league to play in.
Yeah, Micah got to do that too.
There was a lot of Blue Jays players. I didn't see that much of my teammates, unfortunately. Braves teammates, like, sometimes you just got to show up for these things because these kids don't experience that stuff. The Franklin High girls won 17-4. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I said, my daughter played lacrosse, and I had no idea what was going on out there. Like whistles all everywhere. I never got it, but it's very competitive. All the Franklin sports are competitive. It's amazing in this town. You'll see once you get to the high school how competitive it is to play on these teams, and they take a lot of pride in them. So I don't know if there are really any bad teams out there. So it's a tough place to play.
The boys lacrosse for Franklin, they used that third quarter, and they were storming ahead. How do you think they could have done better to not have to use the last 2 quarters to win?
Sounds like the Celtics, huh? You gotta play the full game.
Third quarter, yeah.
Exactly. You can't take any time off in these games. Teams will come back. So yeah, it's interesting. I've just seen boys lacrosse and girls lacrosse, and it's very, very different. Boys are much more physical. You know, they have helmets and pads and everything. The girls, the girls are
smacking
physical
each other
too.
with the sticks and.
Girls can be physical too, but not quite the same.
Yeah. The number 1 Franklin won 3-2 over the number 16 Chelmsford. How do you feel on that? Do you think they'll win or continue to move on and stuff?
Yeah, well, the baseball program has been good for a while. That's really kind of a dynasty. I know they had a little bit of an ugly issue earlier in the year in a game against Sharon. Not the team, that was the fans, but hopefully that won't affect the team going forward.
Yeah, they've been on fire. Pretty sure they only have like 3 losses, which is very good, and some good players. That's it for Franklin Sports. Before we wrap it up, I would like to bring something up about the town council. You are a former town councilor, and on Wednesday night's town council meeting, Franklin youth hockey team was presented a proclamation to celebrate for their win. Any thoughts on that, and did you see it?
Yeah, it's great. I didn't see it live. I know I saw it on Facebook. It was posted on different social media, so that's great. And yeah, I know some of the kids on there. I know you do as well. So it's congratulations to them. When I was on the council, there might have been some sports. I know we did things for different types of art and culture groups. I remember there's some dance troupes that we gave proclamation for that did some performances for us. And then there's also the police and firemen when they retire, and when it's nice to be able to recognize people in different aspects of the town, whether it's kids or adults, everyone who's contributing. It's a nice community feel.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You've done that in the past. My dad and the sports teams have done that. And I had 2 friends, Brandon Scardino and James, who played, and they went 8 overtimes.
Wow.
They got the goals to win, and congratulations to those 2. Let's wrap up today's show with some shout-outs. Shout out to my former baseball coach, Mr. Brett Feldman, for coming and answering questions and talking about sports with me today.
My pleasure. Great job. Hope I can be your future baseball coach too.
Yep, I agree. And another big shout out to Chris and Franklin TV, as they've been big helps for making one of my dreams a reality. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Sports with Chaz. Until next time, Franklin, go get 'em. Oh my God.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors. Good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.